From draft day snubs to bitter disputes and legendary homecomings, these are the top 10 revenge games of all time.
With the 8th pick in the draft, the Dallas Cowboys select defensive end from North Carolina, Greg Ellis.
This is where it all went wrong for the Cowboys. Football fans will always wonder, what if Dallas drafted Randy Moss with that number 8 pick? Moss's red flags proved to be a deterrent to most of the league, including Dallas owner Jerry Jones. The young prospect wanted to be a Cowboy. Instead, he dropped all the way to pick number 21.
The Vikings have selected wide receiver Randy Moss.
The rookie phenom made sure to put Dallas and the rest of the league on notice, though.
I'm going to come here and try to do the best I can to rip the NFL up.
3 catches, 3 touchdowns, and an unforgettable Thanksgiving Day performance.
The old flea picker, and open is Randy Moss, and in the end zone is a Minnesota touchdown. Here's Cunningham back to throw it and going deep, and he's got Moss, and there's a flag on the play, and Moss has caught the pass and is in the end zone anyway. Touchdown. Just throw it as far as you can.
This guy is amazing.
The Cowboys showing blitz. Minnesota. It's Randy Moss breaks a tackle, and Randy Moss races down the sideline, and Randy Moss just outruns everybody into the end zone. He is incredible.
Hi, Mom. Happy Thanksgiving.
The Vikings would go on to set a team record with 15 regular season wins in 1998. Moss put on a show against a franchise that passed on him, and the rest was history.
Once again, I felt like people underestimated me.
13 seasons into a legendary career, the Panthers released the most prolific receiver in team history. Steve Smith was in many ways the heartbeat of Carolina's squad. But at age 34, team leadership opted to go in another direction. The Ravens quickly signed the veteran playmaker, setting up a Week 4 grudge match between Smith and his former team.
It was more of a psychological game for me. It was an opportunity to show my growth.
Flacco looking to throw on 3rd and short, lost it far sideline, tip, caught, Steve Smith Sr., and he's going to the 20, 10, 5, touchdown Ravens!
He's a happy man. He's got to think, this is my payback right here, buddy.
Smith went off, 7 catches for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Flacco fumbles the snap, picks it up, heaves it towards the end zone, Steve Smith Sr. is there, he makes the catch!
To be able to do this against his former team, it's just unbelievable.
Smith and the Ravens put the hammer down on Carolina with a 38-10 win.
This is a nail, hit him in a coffin. You're dead. Take your ass back to Carolina.
20 years earlier, it was a superstar corner getting a shot at his former team.
Dion Sanders, who returns to Atlanta for the first time since signing with the 49ers. And of course, he'll be looking at Mr. Rising today.
All-Pro Dion Sanders spent his first 5 seasons with the Falcons. He helped Atlanta reach the playoffs in 1991, but by 1994, it was time for a change. The 49ers came calling and signed the NFL's best defensive back to a 1-year deal. Fast forward to Week 7 of the 94 season, Dion's homecoming, and a one-on-one matchup with Falcons receiver Andre Rison.
Dion Sanders and Andre Rison. And you wonder why the ball hasn't gotten into his hands. This is the 5th play. Well, there's the reason. One guy who hasn't had an opportunity even to have a catch or a yard has been Andre Rison.
Sanders in his prime was about as good as it gets. The lockdown corner made life miserable for Rison that day, and by the second quarter, the ex-teammates had seen enough of each other.
We got some duking going on.
Andre Rison and Dion Sanders. How often do we come in talking about a one-on-one battle that never really materializes, and not only does it on the field in the play, but it does physically?
Punches aside, Dion was incredible in his return to the Georgia Dome. He put a stamp on his performance late in the first half.
Pass is intercepted.
Uh-oh, they're not catching
him. Down the sideline.
Dion Sanders
is
dancing. He's looking backwards from about the 40-yard line.
Oh, is he going to do a number on the crowd here?
You think that San Francisco 49er team is happy they got him? Look him down there. The whole team down to get him.
Sanders didn't play it down in the second half, but this is still one of the best revenge games of all time.
Brees on the blitz, ball knocked loose, standing on the goal line, and recovered, it looked like maybe by Brandon of the Broncos.
I think Drew Brees got hurt on that play, going for that fumble.
Like Moss to the Cowboys, this has to be one of the most compelling what-if scenarios in NFL history. What if Drew Brees never got hurt in that meaningless Week 17 game in 2005? Would he have stayed with the Chargers? What would have become of Phillip Rivers? We'll never know, but we did find out that the 27-year-old Brees had a second run in him.
These guys really wanted me here, and they really had confidence in me. And obviously the issues with my with my surgery and everything else, I just felt like they had as much confidence in me as I had in myself.
Brees was an instant sensation in New Orleans, leading the Saints to the NFC Championship game in 2006. By 2008, he was the league's most productive passer, and that year he had the Chargers in his sights. A Week 8 clash in London gave Brees a chance at revenge.
5 years in San Diego, the last 2 years, one of them a Pro Bowl season, played extremely well, but when his 5th year was up, they said, thanks, we don't want you anymore.
Brees and Rivers put on a show that night. Each threw for over 300 yards and 3 scores, but the ex-Charger got the last laugh with a huge win over the team that let him walk.
Now flings it back in the end zone for the touchdown. That's Henderson. Back to the #1 offense in the NFL. Going for the long ball, looking for more. Diving catch. What a catch it was. Down was the last time down here. Now Brees is throwing for it, and he has it. And the New Orleans Saints come to London and head home with a victory.
Brees would face the Chargers 3 more times throughout his career, and he won every single one of those matchups.
The mighty Cleveland Browns come charging onto the field, and the capable mentor who put them on top, Coach Paul Brown.
The man who had a team named after him, Paul Brown, led Cleveland's professional football team to 7 championships in the AAFC and NFL. There's a case to be made that he's the greatest coach of all time. But by 1963, Brown's owner, Art Modell, was taking the team in another direction.
There's no rah-rah in professional football. It's a cold, hard, commercial game.
The team parted ways with Brown after 17 seasons. The future Hall of Fame coach spent 5 years away from the sideline before getting a call to lead another Ohio team. Brown would become owner, GM, and coach of the expansion Cincinnati Bengals of the AFL.
Well, you look fine. Thank you. Feel pretty good. I'm happily settled down again to living a normal life, and I like it.
He mimicked Cleveland's orange and brown uniforms, seemingly taking a shot at Modell. But it wouldn't be until 1970 when Brown faced his former team. The AFL-NFL merger placed both the Browns and Bengals in the AFC Central, where they'd square off twice a year.
This is the day Paul Brown returns to the city where he founded a football dynasty.
Browns-Bengals fell short in the first ever meeting between the two teams. Blanton Collier's Cleveland squad won a tightly contested game as the two head coaches refused to shake hands after the game. So, how would Part 2 shake out?
In Cincinnati, another of pro football's great new rivalries was preparing to step into its second stage of development.
After falling into a 10-0 hole, the Bengals scored 2 touchdowns, squeaking past their division rival. After the game, Brown called it the biggest win of his career. 7 years after his firing, Brown finally got his revenge.
I feel like I'm in a winning organization here. Maybe I am the missing link.
He has a passion for the game. I don't mind the personality.
After falling short in 3 straight NFC Championship games, Andy Reid and the Eagles needed a new piece to get over the hump. Enter Terrell Owens.
Into the end zone, and it's caught for a touchdown by T.O., already paying dividends.
And that is the luxury that McNabb, until this year, never had.
Philly went from 20th in passing offense to 7th in the span of 1 season. Owens racked up close to 1,200 yards and 14 scores in 2004, even playing in the Super Bowl on a broken leg.
Unbelievable. Terrell Owens, you're talking about a guy basically playing on one leg, 5 weeks removed from having screws put in his ankle.
That's where the story goes south, though. The following offseason, Owens was kicked out of the Eagles training camp when a contract dispute turned sour. It only got more bizarre from there.
I was asked to leave training camp today, and that's it.
Some would say this is starting to become a circus.
I love the fans.
Owens was released by the Eagles in 2006, only to sign with the division rival Cowboys. Fast forward to Week 5 of that season, when a revenge game for the ages was queued up. Owens struggled mightily. He caught just 3 passes on 13 targets, with the Eagles keying in on his every move. With Dallas down a score and time ticking down, was there a chance for T.O. to steal the spotlight?
Bledsoe into the end zone, and he's picked off. Back the other way. Lito Shepherd all alone. The Philadelphia Eagles take it over Dallas.
I'm so proud to represent this franchise as their head coach.
Back in 1998, the Raiders found a gem in 35-year-old coach John Gruden. As the youngest head coach in NFL history at the time, Chucky turned the fortunes of a slumping franchise. By his 3rd season, Gruden led the Raiders to an AFC West title.
You guys are #1 in the AFC West, divisional champions. Congratulations.
But after falling short of a Super Bowl in 2000 and 2001, Raiders leadership opted to trade Gruden instead of re-signing the young head coach to a long-term deal. That's right, Gruden was traded to Tampa Bay for 2 first and 2 second-round picks.
Quite simply, I'm thrilled to be here.
So what happens next? Gruden takes over a stacked Bucs team that was built by departed Tony Dungy and finally gets Tampa Bay to the Super Bowl.
Tampa Bay, we're going to the Super Bowl.
And as luck would have it, Gruden met his former team in Super Bowl 37. Total domination. Gruden knew what league MVP Rich Gannon and the Raiders had planned, and one of the greatest defenses of all time forced 5 turnovers and scored 3 touchdowns by themselves.
Gannon to throw. Here's the pass. It's picked off. Intercepted. Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
Super Bowl, baby! Boom, boom, boom!
Buccaneers win in San Diego.
The Brett Favre retirement watch is over.
I am officially retiring.
After 17 seasons, 3 MVPs, a Lombardi trophy, and countless Packers records, Brett Favre called it a career. Or did he?
News breaking on Wednesday that Favre was considering a comeback.
After a cup of coffee in New York, Favre did the unthinkable in 2009.
Brett Favre ending his retirement for the 2nd year in a row, officially signing on Tuesday with the Minnesota Vikings.
Of all teams, the division rival Vikings, Favre would now face the Packers twice a year, with the first meeting coming in Week 4.
If you heard Brett this week, he said this is not about revenge. But if you've been around Favre, you know getting back at the Pack is a huge part of the fuel that has motivated his return to the NFL.
The Monday night clash lived up to the hype. Favre and Aaron Rodgers went toe-to-toe in an all-time classic.
Favre, touchdown, Shankos, ring 5. And Rodgers throws downfield for Finley, who made a great move in the open field. And Jermichael Finley takes it to the end zone and in. Packers bring Woodson off the corner. Favre throws, touchdown.
Dugan down the field.
And now takes a quick shot for Berrien. Touchdown.
Ultimately, it was Favre's moment. Minnesota would pick up the win and do it again 4 weeks later at Lambeau Field. Favre got his revenge and the season sweep.
What a great homecoming for Brett Favre.
Kick ass on 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah!
You want hype? Look no further than 1994 Week 2.
You just get the feeling in the stadium, and I'll guarantee you it's big. It's big for 2 guys, Joe Montana and Steve Young.
Let's rewind. Joe Montana's tenure in San Francisco was coming to an end by the early 90s. A string of injuries and the ultra-talented backup Steve Young pushed Montana out the door in 1993. The 4-time Super Bowl winner was traded to Kansas City, where he was welcomed with open arms.
We got Joe! We got Joe!
Now wearing number 19 and a different shade of red, Montana quickly turned the Chiefs into a Super Bowl contender.
Back to pass, Joe Montana. Looks right, arches a pass into the end zone. A backpedaling, leaping catch. Touchdown! Hey!
Meanwhile, Young and the 49ers failed to reach the heights of Montana in the 80s. But 1994 was a different year. San Francisco was building a powerhouse of its own, and by Week 2, the stage was set. Joe Montana versus Steve Young.
Montana kept it. Stop. Touchdown, Valerio.
Montana was outstanding, an efficient 203 yards and a couple touchdown passes. Young, on the other hand, was harassed all day by Chiefs linebacker Derek Thomas.
As if Young was having trouble hearing, look out, safety.
But while Montana and the Chiefs were victorious that day, the 49ers would get the last laugh. Young went on to win an MVP in 1994, leading San Francisco to a win in Super Bowl 29.
And the Patriots have won their 6th Super Bowl title.
Congrats, man. Awesome. You too, man. Yeah, I love you. Way to go. Love you too, man.
Was there any other choice for number 1? Bill Belichick and Tom Brady set a new standard for excellence in their 20-year reign of dominance, a record 6 Super Bowl titles, unheard of in today's era. But after 2 decades of sustained greatness, the greatest quarterback-coach combination ever called it quits. Coming off a rough 2019 season in New England, Brady opted to hit free agency, signing with the talent-laden but slumping Bucs. What did he do next?
Bucs are the Super Bowl champs.
Big man, I love you. Greatest all time. This is what we do. This is what we do.
That's right, Lombardi Trophy number 7 for the greatest to ever do it. Fast forward to 2021, Week 4, Bucs versus Patriots. Brady versus Belichick. The GOATs return to New England.
And tonight, Brady comes out of the visitors' locker room, and a full house await the grand entrance. 28 yards more to set the record. Fires, caught, and that should do it. And there is your record. These guys. Jones fires, that's caught, and getting into the end zone. Jones again to the outside. Jones to the end zone. Harris is the back. Fake it to him. Caught. Touchdown. A timeout on the other side when they get the ball. But this is for the lead, and it is just inside from 56. On its way. It is off the goalpost. No good. You can hear the doink. Well, there it is.
You can see the ultimate respect every single one of those players who played with him have for him, and I think they're all happy they don't have to play each other maybe ever. This might be it.